Well, ladies and gentlemen, the attacks on Black Myth Wukong continue as expected, and we knew this was going to be a thing, and it's going to continue to be a thing, so long as this game continues to rise in popularity and rise in sales. This game is absolutely crushing it, and the woke mainstream media cannot take it. They just can't. Like, they are melting down so much left and right on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Reset Era, everywhere. They're melting down everywhere. Well, now we have a prime example of what happens when somebody who was caught lying about the game has now decided to resort to telling people to pirate the game, because clearly telling people to be criminals is how you deal with your envy.
You went full retard, man. Never go full retard.
So we have an article here from That Park Place with a headline that reads, IGN writer who smeared game science in Black Myth Wukong is calling for a boycott of the game, previously admitted to hating white people. Now, obviously, we're talking about the good old, I don't even know how you say this name, Kihu Chan or whatever. Yeah, that particular person that was a translator for Rebecca Valentine. Remember that whole debacle? The one that they refused to recant, the one that they refused to admit that they were wrong on? Yeah, well, apparently, they have now doubled down and tried to now tell people to boycott the game, because clearly telling people to boycott the game after it's sold over 10 million copies is a great idea. So let's get into this article, guys, from That Park Place. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. Now, they've tried this once before. They've tried to get us to boycott Hogwarts Legacy, and that failed massively. Guess what? Black Myth Wukong is more than 2 times greater than that particular game. They are failing in their boycotts left and right. They don't have the power. They don't have the numbers. They don't have the resources. They are not capable of boycotting anything. Anytime they ask for a boycott of a particular game, that game becomes massively successful. They are the literal opposite of mainstream, but they like to pretend like they're the majority whenever you speak to them. So let's get into the article and see what it has to say. One of the IGN writers who smeared game science as sexist called for gamers to boycott Black Myth Wukong ahead of the game's release. Interestingly, this same writer had previously admitting to hating white people. As reported by YouTuber Smash JT, shout out to Smash JT, writer Ki-Hoon Chan, who co-wrote an article with Rebecca Valentine at IGN accusing game science of being sexist based on crude recruitment posters the company used back in 2015, as well as social media posts that have heavily been disputed and criticized for being uncharitable translations, called for gamers to boycott Black Myth Wukong right before the game release. Well, guess what? That didn't really succeed at all. That didn't succeed at all. You actually failed miserably. It goes to show how little people actually care about what you have to say, Ki-Hoon Chan. But let's continue. Of course, you have Free Palestine in your fucking bio. Chan posted to X, I'm so fucking pissed off. This has gone too far. Don't play Black Myth Wukong. If you must, go and pirate it. If you enjoy it, I don't want to know. Fuck game science and all the grifters who are doing this to one of my favorite people in the industry. This post clearly calls into question whether or not Chan had ulterior motives when writing the article of IGN smearing game science and accusing the company of sexism. Of course they had ulterior motives. It's pretty obvious. This response right here is the exact epitome of ulterior motives. This person is pissed off because game science is winning. That's all it's about. This person is pissed off because their article about lying about the translations that they particularly said about whatever situation of sexism, whatever, they lied through and through. Chinese people have called them out on their lie, and because they got called out, they're getting pissed off and they're trying to encourage people to go pirate it. This shit right here is dirty. This is dirty, right? Like, if you're mad about the game, sure, no problem, have at it. But this is dirty. Encouraging people to go pirate it is pretty fucking dirty, right? You're encouraging people to go pirate it simply because you just don't like it, right? You don't like the fact that game science is winning and whatnot, and that's okay. Like, I've talked about people pirating TV shows and whatnot in the past. I've even said, hey, me personally, I'm probably not going to go support it on its actual forum. I'm going to go check it out if I really had to for a review. I'm gonna go check it out on the seas, right? But at the end of the day, this is why I stopped doing TV show reviews and movie show reviews, because I just didn't want to go watch the absolute trash that is currently on mainstream television. I just didn't want to do it, right? So I didn't want to even bother to go pirate it, because at the end of the day, pirating it is wrong no matter what. So I decided to stop doing that. I just felt like it was completely against everything I thought about at the time. But regarding this now, this person is advocating for you to go pirate it simply because they don't want the game to be successful for their own personal ideology. They didn't want this game to be successful because they know that they lied about the actual translations. And when they got called out on it, it's pretty obvious that it was all a lie to begin with. And this reaction proves it, in my opinion. So again, then it says Chan's comments are not out of the ordinary. Back in January 2022, as part of a lengthy thread discussing Slow Clap's Sifu game, Chan denigrated white gamers and even admitted his hatred for white people. In one post, he wrote, "White gamers have zero nuance, zero understanding of the world, and it'll forever be like this because the world bends over to meet their expectations. And if they're upset, they just scream at their targets until everything works miraculously in their favor." I mean, you have to be coping and seething to truly believe that that's the case, because in mainstream media right now, at least in the West, where I believe this person resides in, that is not the case at all. Everybody is bending the knee to black people and LGBTQ people and trans people. That's what everybody's bending the knee for. You can't even speak out against either one of those groups, because the moment you do, you are labeled a bunch of different, terms that don't mean anything anymore, but you're still labeled regardless: racist, sexist, homophobe, transphobe, blah, 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 whatever. You're labeled all those things. So the fact of the matter is, what you just said is not true. It's not true at all. But in all actuality, if you're going to lump people up who don't believe in your ideology as simply white gamers, it shows that you live in a world of black and white, and that's not how this works. The world is not black and white. The world is very gray, and you're trying to lump everybody up into the same conversation when they might all think differently, but they might just overall think the same on one particular thing. It doesn't mean that they all think the same on everything. But again, you're trying to clump them up as, oh, the only people who disagree with us is white people. That is not the case in the slightest, because all I got to do is provide one example of someone disagreeing with you who's not white, and that just completely throws your narrative out the water. And myself is one of those people. So again, what are we doing here? And this is why they started coming up with white adjacent, right? Because white adjacent is their cop-out to people who are not white that disagree with them. They'll just say, oh, you're just white adjacent. And then if it's a black person, they'll say, oh, you're just a self-hating black person. They just come up, they just keep moving the goalposts. In another post, Chan wrote, "Do I hate white people? Yes. And if you're a friend, you'll understand why this is never personal. I hate white privilege so much. Their ability to scream reverse racism when faced with a tiny bit of criticism. The world revolves around them, even in Singapore, every day." You honestly just hate yourself at this point. It's very clear that Ki-Hoon Chan is suffering from self-hate. They like to say that, oh, black people that disagree with them is suffering from self-hate. No. This is a prime example of what it actually means to be a self-hating person. Ki-Hoon Chan hates themselves. They cannot stand the fact that they were not born white for whatever reason. They wish and they're envious of the fact that other people are born white and they want to be born white. This shit is insane. Just get over yourself at this point. Stop hating yourself, and perhaps if you stop hating yourself, you might be able to make some progress in your life. But this is not going to lead to anything positive in your life whatsoever. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you did enjoy it. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.